and welcome into another episode of Dan Tony Sports. My name is Dan Snyder, joined tonight at the moment by Dan O'Shea and Dan Beebe, 3Dan Band. Gentlemen, how we doing tonight?
How's it going? Doing good.
Yes, doing good. We have what I think is going to be one of the more fun shows that we've had in the past 5 months. Because tonight we're going to be talking about NFL 2020 rookie class, and I think it's very safe to say very few disappointments from the 2020 rookie class. I don't know if there's ever been a rookie class that has had this much of an impact in one season as this year. Do you guys, is that a fair assessment, or am I forgetting rookie classes? I mean, obviously in other sports, it's easier for like basketball for a rookie class to have a bigger impact, especially when you look back at like 2003 with LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony and Chris Bosh. Yes, they had an immediate impact, but in basketball, I feel like that's easier to accomplish than it is in the NFL. So, NFL-wise, is there a rookie class that you can think of that's had more of an impact than this one has, we'll say in the past 10 years?
It would be tough. It would be tough to point to one. You know, there's always standout rookies, but rarely do you have so many, I feel like. And across many different positions, wide receivers, O-linemen, defensive ends, running backs, quarterbacks have just been very impressive.
Yeah, of course. And they're just across the board. I don't know if there's a single team that hasn't had a rookie with a positive impact. Not that I can think of. I know it's tough, Dan O'Shea, for your Jets, but Mekhi Becton's pretty nice, bringing a little bit of stability to that offensive line. Obviously, he wasn't enough. But I think every team has a, as far as I can recall, has a rookie on it that is making a very positive impact. Dan Beebe, the Buffalo Bills, you got a couple. You got Zach Moss, who is doing nicely when he's been called upon to run the ball, but even more impressive has been the stud wide receiver Gabe Davis from Central Florida. He's been very good for the Bills this season. The Cowboys, you know, we've had we've got CeeDee Lamb, we've had Tyler Biadasz, who's had to start at center for a while. We've got Trevon Diggs, who has looked absolutely horrible, to be honest, for most of the season, but seems to be figuring it out how to play NFL defense. And we were told from the beginning of the season that the training camp, not having training camp really, not having a preseason, it's really going to hurt the defense more than it is the offense. So, don't know really what to expect there necessarily, but there are a few surprises, in my opinion, for rookies that have been having a big impact. And I was wondering, before I say who mine are, who do you guys think are rookies that you didn't expect to do much that are really playing well? And who are rookies you expected to play well that aren't quite, meeting where you thought they would be? And obviously, let's leave Joe Burrow out because he got hurt.
Of course.
So, who are some players that you guys can think of that are exceeding your expectations and some that are not quite meeting them?
I can start with James Robinson on the Jaguars.
For which category? I know the answer, but for which category?
Obviously for exceeding expectations. I remember looking at the Jaguars' backfield after they released Fournette, and I was like, oh, man, I want no part of this. But let me take a flyer on James Robinson, and I did so in as many leagues as I could just because I heard some rumblings, but I figured he'd be like a third, fourth string fantasy player and, not a very good running back, and he has obviously been one of the best rookie running backs ever. He's on pace for possibly the best rookie campaign for a running back ever, and certainly the best for an undrafted rookie running back. So he's been incredibly effective.
It seems like we're getting this story quite a bit recently, and it's really causing a lot of teams to think about, should I be drafting a running back as high as, say, Ezekiel Elliott or Saquon Barkley or Leonard Fournette? Because remember, just a couple years ago, we had Phillip Lindsay. Same thing. Undrafted, comes into the league, sets it on fire. Not exactly to the extent that Robinson is right now, but that's what he did as well. And then you've got guys like Leonard Fournette, who knows what Robinson's going to end up being in the next few years. Because Leonard Fournette played really well his rookie season and then just really fizzled off. So we've seen guys drafted high.
He hasn't been as hot since his rookie season either.
He
certainly hasn't been very impressive this season.
Well, I mean, he's also got what's his name in the backfield with him. Yeah.
Some competition. Sure.
I mean, he's now the backup, whereas last year he was the starter, and what's his name, Royce Freeman was his backup. Now he's the backup.
Yeah. One of the receivers, one of the players that I'm thinking of that's been more disappointing than a lot of people expected, but not terrible, just more disappointing. I would say Henry Ruggs. He's struggled. He's had a couple good games here and there. He caught that Hail or Fail Mary, however you want to call it, against the Jets for the game winner.
Was it the first time in like 18 years they've called a blitz in that situation?
No one's called the cover zero on that, but if anyone would, it's going to be Greg Williams. But I'm thankful for him for preserving the tank for Trevor. But other than that, he hasn't really shined too much. Neither has his counterpart on Las Vegas. I think it's Brian Edwards is on Vegas. Correct me if I'm wrong. And they had high expectations. Ruggs certainly by the Raiders was drafted before Jerry Jeudy and CeeDee Lamb.
And Justin Jefferson and Chase Claypool, and we'll get to all of the rookies who are doing really well, even though I just named 4 of them.
Yeah. Those are my 2 candidates for exceeded and disappointed.
Okay, Dan Beebe, what do you think? Who has exceeded your expectations, and who has really failed to meet what you expected?
I would say probably Myles Gaskin exceeded. I mean, I thought he would be a decent running back, but he's really, outside of getting hurt, has kind of taken on a running back 2 kind of role. Zach Moss, as a disappointment, I kind of thought we'd see a little bit more from him. I thought, seeing that he does share snaps with Devin Singletary, I guess it's not too surprising or out of the question.
Actually, Myles Gaskin's a second-year running back.
Is he?
Yeah, he was last year.
Okay. Other than that, I guess, Dobbins, I guess we should probably see more from him. They're still kind of peppering him in with Gus Edwards and Mark Ingram, so
yeah,
kind of remains to be seen.
So I've actually got quite a few on each list. Players that I'm very surprised at how well they're doing. First, I was not a believer in Chase Claypool. I was wrong. The kid is electric. He's so much fun to watch. Then you've also got Justin Jefferson. I knew he was going to be good. I did not expect him, in my opinion, to be the offensive rookie of the year at this point. I thought it was going to be one of the quarterbacks.
We did say that, we did grade the Vikings draft as one of the highest, and he was a part of that.
Right. I'm also very much impressed by Robinson. I'm very much impressed with CeeDee Lamb, although I don't know that I'd put him as exceeding expectations.
Living up to.
Yeah, he's living up to, and maybe exceeding a little bit what I expected. But for me, the biggest name in exceeding expectations is Jeremy Chin. The kid is nuts. He's so good. So good. I really wish the Cowboys had drafted him instead of Trevon Diggs, because he's so much fun to watch. He plays safety. He can play corner. Dude's a linebacker. All right, they got him acting like he's Jamal Adams and blitzing, and it's working because he's recovering fumbles and returning them for touchdowns on back-to-back plays against the Saints. Back-to-back plays.
He has like 70 tackles this season.
He's
very good. I'm surprised you haven't said Justin Herbert, since I don't think you were very high on my boy.
He was next. But yes, you're right. God. And I'm going to blame Oregon for this. Because why are you having him run spread option when the dude's got the most beautiful fucking passing stance in the history of the NFL? Like, he looks so natural in the pocket. It's insane. Like, he's got... In college, they had him running run-pass option. They had him running so many option plays, throwing on the run. Why? They had the best offensive line for the last 2 years in college football, maybe second best to Wisconsin. But let the dude stand in the pocket and throw it. He's so good. So good.
Yeah. I do have to agree with you there, but I did have big expectations that he's living up to them. Kind of wish that we would have been in the right position to get him, but it was just between years of us sucking for a quarterback. So
you know what though? If you guys don't tank for Trevor, you can at least yield for Fields.
Yeah. I've got high hopes for both of them, so we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, going back to the rookies that have disappointed me. Two big in my opinion, named rookies that have really disappointed me. One is J.K. Dobbins. Yep. He's had flashes of being good, but he's just not consistently where I thought he would be. I thought he would be a top 10 running back in the NFL this season. That's what he was at Ohio State. He was the offense. He could run it. He could catch it. He could run it out of a wildcat. He was the offense. And in Baltimore, not much, if at all. He's not doing much. I thought he should have been the first running back taken. And he wasn't. And that leads me to my disappointment number 2.